Hello again, and welcome to the channel. This time together with Kevin Favier, and we're doing something
Hello.
different today. Like normally, I'm making these videos alone, but this time I thought I would invite a coworker who hasn't used Tana, at least not much, right?
No, not very much. I've created my account and I've watched some videos of you trying to explain it, but I haven't got around to it. And I'm very curious because I've seen you use it and I'm amazed by the possibility. So,
Yeah, and so the reason for this is that as soon as this video goes live, Tana has also gone from alpha to beta, I believe. They're releasing Tana Core. So if you are on the wait list and you're willing to pay for Tana, then you can actually start using it right away. And that's also the version that we're gonna be looking at today. Now let's put Tana on the screen. There we go. And
yes.
this is the sort of like the first thing you see after actually upgrading your account. So what is new is that now you have to pay. So you have to go through the payment flow. Tana is quite functional completely for free. But in order to use the cool AI stuff and to have some other benefits, then you need to upgrade to Tana Core. And that's what we're looking at today.
Okay.
You
And they
haven't
have
seen
some
any
sort
of
of
this,
a
right?
trial program for this?
Yeah, so if you've been on the wait list and or have been using it for a while, and then you get a nice discount. I think it's around. I think the difference. I think it's around 10 euros a month for if you pay yearly, and if you were an early adopter, 12
Okay.
euros a month. I think if you pay by month, and then up to 14 or 16 euros if you're like finally after the early access period.
Sounds good.
So this is what you're looking at after logging in, and well, you haven't looked at it before, so I'll explain a little bit the pieces. You have the sidebar over here. Oh yeah, I have something that you can show my mouse cursor. Look. Oh, I'm so happy with
Oh,
this. Yeah. So you have the sidebar with the today inbox and some super text and AI chat. We'll get to all of this. Basically, what it is an outliner. So an outliner is simply you type something and you type something underneath. So there's basically two types of systems like this. You have the markdown version like Obsidian, which is
mhm.
basically a big document. And you put all your notes in here. And this is more like an outliner where you have bullet points and everything is nested underneath each other.
Okay.
The cool stuff is that basically you get a new daily note every day, and that's gonna be the base of how you use it. Um,
So every time I start Tana on another day,
yeah,
it's it automatically shows a new day.
yes, yeah. It
Okay.
creates a specific note for the day itself. Now there's some welcome stuff in here to teach you how to use Tana, but since you have me, I'll be doing that for you. The
Okay.
basic setup is quite interesting because one of the things they've added recently is these things on the side. So these are called relevant content. You can put any block that you want here. So the cool part is that you can sort of shape the UI of Tana to the way you actually want to use it.
That sounds good.
So currently there's tasks here and an agenda. And this agenda is actually filled automatically from Google. So if you have a Gmail account, and for instance, let's see, what time is it? Let's put something in there at 7 or something. Let's say I'm meeting with Kevin. There we go. And it should show up into the, yeah, it shows up in Kevin. It shows up in Kevin. It shows up in Tana. So
Great.
before this version, actually, you had to type this in manually, and I made a little bit of a tool that could sort of import these things from your Mac calendar if you were having a Mac, because like we're at work, we're using the Microsoft stuff, and it only connects so far with Google. So you still need either to use my little tool Event Link or to actually type stuff in yourself. But that's actually quite easy. So let's try and manually create a piece of calendar here, and say let's have something like that. Basically, when you type something, you can create a meeting from it by tagging it. So, for instance, say that I was meeting Anne. You can tag it with the hashtag meeting if you type that afterwards. So any node that you type in, you can tag, and then it becomes sort of like an object. And when you put a date in there, so for instance, if we put today, it's the 12th, right? Yes, 12 at 5 until 6. And then it also shows up here.
Wow.
So
And it also syncs with Google.
Yeah.
With your Gmail account now.
Yeah. Okay. So far only Gmail, but they promise to also add stuff like Microsoft, so we can use it at work. So cool. What you can see is here, like if we go to the Kevin node, there's no attendee yet. So there's a couple of people already in here. I think these are all Tana employees. So interesting. So let's add you, Kevin Favier, and let's tag you as a person. And the interesting part is this way you can sort of create the entire structure for yourself. So when you click on you, now there's some other stuff like, hey, your email, your company, or your role. But for instance, if you also want to track other things, so I'm not quite sure, like maybe a phone number, you can press / and then insert a field. So for instance, in this case, it would be a plain field, phone number. And what I've now done is like added the field phone number to only you. But if you want to add the phone number field to all people, you simply, oh, that was a little bit too fast. You right click it and you get add to template.
Okay, and there's one general template for everything? For
a person in this case. So in this case, you have a person, and now the person has a phone number. And if you want to see and edit the template, you can simply configure the tag. And then you have the content template right here. And then you see that the phone number is here. Okay. So basically, this is the way you can create all kinds of stuff. Basically, you can create your own database with your own fields and everything inside of it. So cool. One of the things I use, for instance, that role. At the office, we have a couple of standard roles, they have a name, and I am I don't want to type them in every time. So similar to here, when you click here, these are the types of roles that they have added. So in this case, I can make you an engagement manager.
Wow, I've always wanted to be an engagement manager.
But if you want to say, hey, I want different roles, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can right click on do configure field. And here you see those types of things. But you also see here, include auto-collected values as options. So I can also add, for instance, lead designer here. And the next person now, it should, if I click on the configure field, it should have lead designer in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it auto adds everything new.
Great.
So what's up? What's more? One of the cool parts is here. So what they recently added is this one. It's also an add a meeting agent. If you add a video call link here, so for instance, a Zoom call or a Teams call or a Google Meet call, if you put the URL here and click add meeting agent, then it will actually transcribe your entire meeting. And it will extract action points. So yeah, and it will put these things into discovered items and in the transcript that you see above.
And it does that automatically, or can you choose that afterwards? Or
you can configure almost everything. I think the setup that they preload does it automatically in order to make things as easy as possible just to get started. But as you get a little bit more comfortable or really comfortable, you can basically it's nearly a low-code automation system where you can update and change almost everything how Tana works and looks.
Sounds good.
So I'm thinking, okay, what shall we look at first? So I think one of the things that I use a lot is the inbox. So a lot of stuff that flows into Tana is stuff that I send to it. So for instance, from my mobile phone or from the web or through an API, and it all ends up in the inbox. Now it nicely shows that there's an app for that, and I wanted to show how that actually works. So let's see if this actually works. We can go to my iPad, and there we have the Tana app, and it's signed out. Amazing. Okay, let's see. Let's sign it in, and hope that actually works. Has already some access. Yes, continue. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So you can send little things to like I'm having a meeting with Kevin.
You have an interesting description of the weather on your iPad.
Oh, what did it say? What did it say?
That's some weak shit your son's putting out.
It's nice out, surprise to be sure, but a welcome out. Oh, this is one. Is like nicer? Yeah. So when you send something here, what's actually happening on the other side, you can see that it actually sent it automatically to the Tana inbox. Now that's not so special with this part, but what you can see, it corrected it. Did you see I made some typos? And it fixed the typos. It also it tagged it as a memo. So it will do some magic here using AI to say, hey, is this a task? Is this a message to yourself? And all kinds of things. So if we go back and we can look at the other things.
But I can see your app or what you have opened on the iPad now.
Let me try and fix that. Technology. Hopefully it actually comes back. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
so
that's the one.
Let's say let's set a meeting with Anna, and let's see if it actually converts it into a task. If we go here, yeah, see, so it automatically detected from the language that this is a task, and it converted it to a task. And basically, you can set this up any way you want. So you can define what defines a task or a memo or what kind of stuff you want to sort of configure in your Tana app.
And if you're now going to your Today app, you see it in the task manager on the right.
Well, actually, not yet.
Oh.
One of the things that I actually you do see it in the tasks because this is a search of all of the tasks. But this might be an interesting part because one of the things that I do is I don't want to click into my inbox every time. I prefer to have my inbox here.
Okay.
So let's do that. The first part is I go to the inbox and I simply copy the inbox. So just Command C. Then we go to today, and then you see that also the day tag, today has a day tag, which you can also configure the way you want. So if we go configure task, and then we go directly into advanced options, because this stuff is still a little bit on the advanced side. And basically what you do is you paste it in here. That's not actually allowed because I think you have to make a search here, but it will work. Just don't tell anyone. Let me see if this actually works. Yes, it does work because you see the inbox here. But in order to do it properly, because I think in here, you're only supposed to have search notes or references. Oh, wait, or references. So it is allowed. Okay, cool. Let's put it there. Oh, that's good. In order to put it, because I don't like having it here, I want it on that side and I want it expanded. And this is also a little bit, still a little bit wonky. You have to do add contextual content. Let's see, does it work? It does not. Perfect. Okay, let's, why doesn't it work? This works. Yeah, because this is one of the stuff that hasn't been really figured out. So by default, everything comes here. And the way to configure this is also why it's still under advanced. It's not really easy to discover yet. But I want it on the right. and I actually want this thing there, but
Okay.
it doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be working because it's, in this case, I will just do it like this, prefer area on the right. It did it. They fixed it.
Right.
See, this is the problem
They,
from having
they,
used
they
it.
just made it simpler.
They made it simpler instead of having to suffer through what I'm doing. So now we don't need to leave the today tag anymore in order to see what is being entered into here. Let's try some other stuff that's on the iPad. Oh, interesting. This keeps sort of like every time I switch, then it seems to die on me. So
Okay.
let's put everything on the iPad in one time and then be done with it. I wonder why that is. Okay, there we go. Because one of the other cool stuff is that you can actually do a voice memo. So one of the things I do often is when I'm walking or in the car, and then I just record this stuff and then send it to Tana right like this. What actually happens is that you can see that it added a voice memo in here, which you can of course now play. But what you can also see, it also transcribed it automatically and summarized it. So if you open it up, you can see this is the transcript. But also, if you say things like, okay, this is the type of thing, but if there were any tasks in there, it would have extracted them.
Okay.
So and this is all working out of the box. Now, if I go to my iPad, I will not show it because I'll just record the voice memo in this case. Okay, remind me to pick up the dry cleaning tomorrow. And then let's send that into Tana. You can see, hey, it was added here.
Yes.
The reminder for dry cleaning pickup, and it added a task to my task list.
And it also shows that you voice recorded it.
Yeah,
with the little
so
icon there.
I can listen back to my beautiful voice. And you can see this, like all of this sort of happens out of the box. But the cool part is that you can sort of customize this any way you want. So if you want to have some advanced stuff, you can also do that. It's very cool.
Yeah. So like the today page of every day, like they're now standardly created, are sort of a log of everything that happens on that day. So every input you give or everything you do or have to do on the day.
So basically the way I use it is that I just add everything on the day itself. So when I have a meeting or a task or any kind of note, I will add it on the today page. What you can also see is that the inbox, it moved everything in there automatically to the day it was created. And this one is, for instance, it keeps everything in here. But you can see if you look closely, there's a little bit difference between the note. Here you can see a dashed line, and on the today page, you can actually see you don't see that dashed line, and that means that this is a reference. So this is the same thing. It just it lives in multiple places, and that's very handy because, for instance, when I'm typing something and I want to reference you, now I can say hello, and then when I type @ it will search through everything in Tana, and when I type it, it will find, for instance, you, and then you can also reference you inside of a sentence. And that's very cool because what happens is if I click you, it shows underneath the references.
So that's very handy. So if you have a meeting,
yes, exactly.
Yes, and you've talked about stuff about me.
Yeah.
You can also see the reference on my person. Oh my God.
Yeah. The cool part is that everything that you tag, it will show up here, and slowly you build up sort of this amount of knowledge about this person. So, for instance, say I have a meeting with you today, right? We have that in the calendar. And let's show some other cool feature. It's called live transcription. Ever since I started using this, I'm not typing anymore. So this is a small demo of live transcription in Tana. I'm here with Kevin, and we're having a short meeting. The idea is here to automatically start linking Kevin to everything in this meeting. So later on, we can decide what to do with him. Oh, and by the way, Tana is, Kevin is the lead designer for, I don't know, WidgetConf. Okay. So now you have this piece of text, and let's see what we can do with it. I think we can process this, but I'm not quite sure if that's standard. If it actually works. I don't think so. No. But what we can do is reference you. So for instance here, I will reference you as Kevin.
To the person,
Yeah. And I will also say that, for instance, this is a role, right? We said that before. Maybe it will find you. Yeah, lead designer. See?
Yeah.
And this will be a company. So let's tag this as a company. Let's see if it's already in there. Oh, it's already in there. So now we have a couple of things. So Tana is also a company. And now you can see that slowly we're building this whole sort of network of everything that is now connected to this piece of information. And one of the cool parts is if I press space in any node, then I can ask content about that stuff. So for instance, who is Kevin? So now, because it knows where these things, it will start answering you in these questions. And this is, of course, now it uses the stuff above. So this is a little bit like cheating. But if we go to AI chat, we can also ask, who is Kevin? And you can see that everything in your graph will yield the correct answer.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's click away these things.
So if you carefully add everything you do in your work to your database,
yes, it can
you
answer
have limitless knowledge.
It can answer very interesting questions for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So one of the very nice things is that if you use the meeting agent inside of your meeting, let's see where that was. This meeting here, this one, it will actually add piece by piece information that it learns about you. So for every of the attendees, it will start like listening in on the meeting and add stuff. Like if we're in a meeting and I say, hey, you are the lead designer, like I did there, it will automatically add these pieces of information to you. So it slowly builds up its knowledge base.
Wow. That sounds great. And you can also add, for instance, say we have a meeting and I'm writing down some notes or I'm transcribing it. Can I also add them as a separate file, or is it constantly building the database around Andre in my case?
So what do you mean, like as a separate file?
Is it? Yeah, I mean meeting notes and actions and tasks that are gathered from that meeting.
Yeah.
Is it possible to also add that to your person, for instance?
Okay. So in this case, you mean like we had that meeting, and you want to say that task is assigned to that person or something like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see.
Or also reminders for me from that meeting.
Yes. So
I don't forget to do my stuff.
I have these things. Let's see what the standard setup actually supports. Let's go in and configure this tag and see what is in there. So at this point, it has a status, a due date, and a project. So currently, you cannot assign things. So there's a few things that we can actually do. We can just add a person field here, and then basically you can assign things. That would be the first step. So for instance, if I'm going to add a field here, assignee, field, come on, /field plain, assignee. And now I would ideally want this to be a person. So because now I have to type it every time, and I'm too lazy for that. So what you can do is change the field tag to an options from super tag, and then configure it, and use the person tag.
Okay.
So now, for instance, when I go to this one, and you see the assignee, now I can assign Kevin to there. And
nice.
For instance, when you can go to Kevin, you can see a couple of things. One, here it shows up as an assignee in the task. But one of the things that I usually do is that I have a search somewhere. Like I want to see all of the tasks that are assigned to Kevin, for instance, when I open new. And the easiest way is just if you press a question mark, you can create a search node. Let's start doing that. And basically, this is a query builder. So this is a little bit more advanced, but it's not super difficult. But basically what you say is, I want to have a field. So let's see, a field. Oh, this is interesting. Here you cannot use the slash. You have to use the other way. There's if you type the this sign, then this sign. Oh, you don't see that. I don't know how to explain this sign actually. I cannot show the thing. Okay.
It's the shift dot. So
shift dot.
see,
yes. Yeah.
I see what you're doing on top of the screen.
Yes. So here I want to look for anything with assignee, and then I would want Kevin, but actually I want to take this one, right? So what you can do is here field values, and you do parent. The parent is the parent of this node. So in this case, since this query, this search query lives inside of Kevin, that's interesting. Yeah, you have parent, and then do run, and then it finds the tasks. So this actually says find everything that is assigned to Kevin. Now this will find everything that is assigned to Kevin, which is actually nice. So it doesn't need to be a task. Later on, we can have a project or anything. Everything with this file, with this field, will show up here. So assigned items. One of the interesting things here is that you see is this is now only here. But if we go, for instance, to a different person, I think there was someone else in there. This one. Here you see, oh, he has a nice picture. That's might need work. Let's remove that one. Here you see we don't have that query, right? And it would be nice if that was standard. So
because you didn't add it to the template.
Exactly. Yet. Yeah. So we're gonna configure it, go to the content template, and what we're simply gonna do is drag this thing over there.
Nice.
That's it. And what you see is that this one turns blue. And if you now go to Braga, here you see assigned items. And there we go. Now he has them too. And what I usually also do is in this case, I dislike having these things here. I like to have them as the boxes on the side. So what I generally do is, again, I go to advanced. Let's see, I will copy this one. I will go to where was that again? The related content. I will drop this in. I will copy it here. And now you see this thing here, assigned items, and we assign it to the right. So here you see this. And now this one, you can throw that away. And if we go back to Kevin, you see, here we are. And now it's nice and clean. And now you see how you're slowly building sort of the things that you want and need. And this can go like really complex. Like you can go quite deep, and especially you can also see these.
I can imagine.
Wow. Okay. So I think one of the things I wanted to show you here is like also this. Like this is the images up here. I think this is now the standard version, and you can either have an image on a specific item. So for instance, like the person I showed you before, it had an image of their face. slightly blown up.
Yeah, very stretched.
And this case, you could add an image for today, but you can also add an image for every day. So the standard image for a tag. Mostly for this, I like to have like the extra space. So this feels a little bit wasteful for me to have that kind of stuff there. So if you go to configure tag and then remove the banner, then you see, hey, now you have a little bit more space. Like especially on the today tag, it's very nice to have some extra room.
Great.
You can also like add these things. Like this is like a normal calendar, so you can also drag stuff and put it in here. Like usually, what I do is I copy and paste all of my my items from my calendar manually because I go through them anyway.
Yeah, but you said you have some sort of API or event link tool.
Yes, so
that fetches Apple Calendar to Tana.
Yeah, so I have a little app. I think it's this one, Event Link. And if you're on macOS, then it can read the local calendar. So it doesn't matter which calendar servers you have, and it can import the information into Tana. It's a little bit too much to set it up right now, but basically this is the documentation, and there's a little video of me showing how it works. And this is an example of Tana being able to do really complex things, because in this case you can create a little command that accesses an API and turns that API into nodes and stuff like that. So I do a lot of AI stuff like that too.
Yeah, great. And all this AI stuff we've been doing now, so the transcription, all those things, those are all already in the standard version?
The free version doesn't include it. I think that's the main difference between the free version and the core version. The core version has AI components. If you go here and to manage your account, you also see that I used 1% of my AI quota.
Okay.
Yeah, so later on they're going to come with a company version where you can sort of add your own API keys and stuff like that. But for this, everything is included. The cool part, though, is that a lot of models will eventually be included. So let's see if I can show you this. Let's convert it to a command node. So this is basically the low-code tool where you can say command nodes are basically little programs that you can execute. And here, if we do a ask AI command, let's see if what models they support now. Model to use OpenAI. Oh no, they only support OpenAI for now. So if you this is all included in the core account up until your quota, though. I'm not quite sure how much quota, how much that entails, because all of this stuff is quite new.
Okay.
And I also see here use your own API key. So this is still supported. So apparently here you can use your own key, and then it doesn't use the quota.
Then
but I'm not
100%
sure if everybody will have that. Like for us at the company, you have we have like an unlimited key.
Yes.
But yeah, not everyone will have that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So what are the things that you are most likely you would want to do with it?
Now, what I most likely want to do with it, I think it's I have a lot of people that I need to manage and that I need to maintain information about them. And I have to give myself tasks about them, and I have to remind myself to things I've spoken about with them.
Yeah.
So the transcription would be great for me, and that I can read back meetings we've had, tasks we created. I think that's the main thing at first. But I've seen you work with Tana, and I'm very impressed of what the capabilities are. So, yeah, and I normally use AI Writer. I use Things. I use Notion. Notion is now the app I use for basically the things I just said,
Yep.
but those things I want to do in Tana because I think they're easier, and the way you can set up the database is more clean, I think. Notion has a lot of constraints, so I think that's very handy. And yeah, I'm thinking about let's say I move my AI writer database, so that's like my database of all the copywriting I do, and I try to add it to Tana. I then create something I can search very easily. I can create links. So I think for something like that, for like all my copy, tone of voices, all that sort of stuff, I think I would use it for something like that.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned a couple of things, right? One was the stuff during meetings. So
Yes.
I also have this a lot. So when I'm in a meeting with someone, for instance, if I'm in this meeting and I'm typing along, and then something pops up that I will then need to discuss with someone else, for instance.
Yeah.
So, for instance, discuss the design with Kevin. I usually will tag you, but that's probably not enough because I then want next time that I'm meeting with you that this pops
Yeah.
up automatically. And in order
Yes.
to do that, I created something called a discuss tag, and we can do that together now to see how that works. So basically,
Okay. Cool.
what I do is then I tag it as discuss. Oh, discuss, which is a new tag now, right? So we don't have that yet. So let's create that. It creates a nice pink color. And let's go and configure it. The first thing is a discuss for me is similar like a task. So
Yeah.
it should have almost everything similar to the task. And that means I will extend it from the task. And that means that it will get all of the standard functionality of the task embedded into it, but I can still differentiate that this is a discuss tag. And then I also want something like special here. I heard something, by the way. There was like a ding-ding-ding. I'm not quite sure what that is.
It wasn't me.
I'm hoping it's not something in the recording, but we'll see. So in this case, what I want is to have it automatically assign it to be able to say, hey, I want you to be the one I discuss it with. So I'll add a field, discuss with. I will also configure that field into a options from SuperTag again. So this is like, hey, this needs to be a person.
Yeah.
And I want you to be automatically filled. Configure field. I want this to be an AI enhanced field to discuss with. And usually this means that it's enough because the name of this is discuss with. And since this sort of shows it, let's see what happens if I click here.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. My God. Okay.
So it automatically takes that from it. And then one of the things I also say, like, as soon as I tag something as discuss, I would generally want to run this. And in order to do that, oh, that was a little bit too far. I go to advanced options, and there's this thing called on added. And this is a command that is run when this tag is added. So usually I would type it out and then tag it as discuss. Yeah. So in this case, I just want to find a command, and let's see what's in there. Add tags. This is all of the stuff that you can do, sort of like and build stuff, like generate an image, make an API request. There we go. Run AI fields. Since we have an AI field, I just want to run them. So it defaults to run all empty AI fields. That's it. So now, when we add a new one, so for instance, I'm still typing, discuss the, let's see, the New Year's party with Braga. And now when I discuss it, let's see what happens. Yeah, it automatically filled
Yeah.
in that person using the power of AI.
Okay, and you also said
Mhm.
you want to be reminded in the next
Yes.
meeting you have with me.
So let's go to
You
your
can add that
meeting.
too. Yeah.
Let's see. I think we had a meeting. There we go, Kevin. And here I would like on the side in the action items to just come and show the discussed action item. So let's see if we can edit this thing to also show what we just added. So this
Okay.
thing is part of the meeting template.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll close this one, we'll configure it, go under advanced options, and there we see action items.
Action, yeah.
So action items, let's see the, this is only shown if it has action items, okay? Click search options, then open the query editor. And here it says, okay, so this is like a complex query. It says, hey, if it's a child of action items, so basically this thing is just this thing. It says if it's a child of action items, and that's this thing. But I want to actually have two things. So I'm going to make an or. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it is this. Wait, this is... now you get into a little bit... and this is an and, because by default, it's an and. So let's add these two. And so this is the original one. I don't want to break that one. And I want to show anything that is discuss with you. Or discuss with, and then that person. Remember? Field values, parent. And then done. Now, if you refresh this, let's see if this actually works. Or discuss with Kevin Favier. And it doesn't work. Let's see if this, let's remove some stuff because I'm not quite sure where the issue lies here. Let's just make it a little bit simpler and just remove the other part because I don't know exactly what this does. Discuss with parent. Interesting. Doesn't show. Let's see. Let's make a search. Discuss with parent. Let's see if it shows up here. Okay. So probably something else is wrong. Let me just go back. Let's undo because I completely destroyed all of this. Let's assume this actually works. Let's go back to the original one because maybe something is wrong in the discuss with.
In the discuss
we had a meeting with Anna. Here we discussed it with Kevin. Interesting. Yeah, discuss with Kevin. Set, it is a discuss. Find notes with tag discuss. With field discuss with is Kevin. See, this is also another way to create a search node that is much simpler. Now it finds it. Interesting. So, is there something? Maybe there's two stuff here. I don't know. That's odd. I would assume that this actually... here's something wrong.
He hasn't seen it as a tag?
I don't know. This thing seems interestingly broken.
Not a lot of action in the action panel.
Or... yeah, this is really weird. I'm not sure what's... I'll just remove the entire thing. And... but, yeah. Okay. Let's just copy this one. Put it there. In here. Underneath. And then to the right. Action items. It's not completely correct because in this way, here it is hard-coded to Kevin. And
Yeah.
it should be hard-coded. It should be to parent. Now it works. Interesting. Let's see. If we go and have a meeting with Braga, because that was the other person we assigned something to.
Yeah.
Braga. I already know. The parent is the meeting and not the attendee.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Sometimes it doesn't matter how long I've been doing this. I'm still like messed up. Okay.
Who's parent?
So what you want to do is open and do parent.attendees. And then it will show the one here. It still doesn't show.
Yeah, but now it was hard coded to. Oh no.
Instance.attendees. Okay.
But if you press done now, I see my name there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all. Yeah.
Let me just refresh this. Maybe there's something. Yeah. Okay. It was just,
Yes.
it was just slightly broken.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you can see like in this case, this is really the advanced stuff, right? So in this case, we're having a meeting with Braga.
Yeah.
Braga. And because whenever you have something to discuss now, so if we're in the other meeting and we have another thing to discuss with Braga, so also bring up the conference. And the interesting part here is like one of the things that is will probably break. Like now, if I run discuss, it will not know who to discuss it with. So what you get is now the standard AI stuff. It will try to guess it, and in this case, it will created a person called conference because that's the best guess. But it doesn't really matter. We can just remove it, and so whenever I do this, I always check if the name is in there, and else I will just do it, or I will not do it as auto, but I will just click the button.
Yeah.
If we now go and go into the meeting, now you see, hey, this shows up.
Wow.
And in this case, like the action items here, it simply takes them and puts them in there. But that is now broken because I removed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the cool things is that if you have a meeting, for instance, it's not so much on the meeting, but in this case, you can sort of generate a banner image of things. This is something I usually use for documents. So when you write a document about something, so for instance, let's say you mentioned that you wanted to import all of your stuff from AI Writer, right?
Yes.
So those are basically written documents, I guess.
Yes.
I do say that Tana is not as good for long form writing unless you don't mind writing in an outliner. Like now I used it for so long that for me, like writing in the outliner is not a big problem. But for instance, say you have a keynote speech or something. So let's say, welcome valedictorians. And I'm not going to write the speech myself. If you just write, if you press +++, it will just finish up. So now we have our great speech. This is of course super high quality speech.
Yeah.
If you click on any note, you go into it and it becomes sort of like this document view, right?
Yes.
So and then if you create generate a banner for the keynote speech or the graduation, and then let's see what style. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, the second one.
The second one, this one, the cute bunny. Generated. So this uses the I think it's called DALL-E image generation from OpenAI to generate then an image and a banner image for your keynote speech. Takes a little while. AI is it's also Sunday. Beautiful. Then we set the banner image, and then it starts looking more like a document. And one of the things you can do then is publish it. And then you get a web link. So if you publish this one, there's a button here, publish.
Yeah.
Now open the link, and now you have a web page where this is published. So it's also great in order to share stuff or to have a small blog where you can do stuff. You can also have, like, if you have the core, you get password protected publish pages. So you can share them to someone with a password link.
Cool. That's great. And can I also add like this speech to a project or something?
Yeah, I think the standard, it probably has some sort of project structure. So let's say you have a graduation. Let's see if it has a project. Yeah, it has a project. Again, if it didn't, you can just have yourself, you can add anything yourself. What I usually do is, hey, how do you then link these two together, right? So one of the things is that you could simply, so let's see, this is a family project. Basically, one of the things, you can just add search and then find the graduation keynote speech. I think it was called keynote speech. And now basically it is added. Because if you go to the keynote speech, you can see that it's referenced in graduation.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a little bit of the cheesy solution. A better solution would be to add, for instance, documents or something like that. Maybe texts, something like that you have written. And if we add that to the template, you don't need to, but and then drag it in there, this is a little bit nicer. Because now, when you go, it actually says, it appears as text in graduation.
Okay, and this works the same as, for instance, a person. So I can also now make the template for a project look like this. It also has text and
I think
room for speeches.
I added it to the thing before. Yeah, it's in the. If you want to move stuff, you can just move them around, and it moves them everywhere.
Yes, and you could also add, just like you did with persons, actions on the project.
So basically,
it's basically the same structures are applied. Cool.
Yeah, one of the things I generally also do is for things like a keynote speech, you can also set an icon, generate an icon, and then it will change the little icon to this. And the interesting part is that if you have you, for instance, a task. So let's say finish writing the keynote speech. And let's make that a task. And then you can see it's a little bit more recognizable when you generate. And the icon is actually generated using AI. But if you don't like it, you can always go in and select anything else that you want.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. And
so now I'm gonna have to move all my stuff to Tana.
I have to say, the last time I showed this to someone, it was a lot more complicated. They did a lot of work to make this a little bit more approachable. Because with so much, you can almost customize everything, which is nice for me because I like to tinker with these things. But as I've noticed at work, as we're trying to explain it to people, not everybody likes to tinker. Some people just want it to work. And having a basic
just work
setup,
out of the box.
Yeah. That is really
the first time the first time I used it, I logged in and okay, this is like a sandbox. And now but this helps.
Now you have a lot more structure in order to get started. And you can still throw it all away and start from the same sandbox if you want. Because basically these things you can just, this is your workspace, your personal workspace. And you can just throw that entire thing away and just start afresh if you don't like the standard setup. But actually, the standard setup is quite good, and it allows you to sort of gradually learn.
Yeah, and I think that's necessary. So what you did with the inbox, adding it to today, I think when you're still learning, it's it's kind of handy that the inbox is there in a sort of a safe place.
Yeah, else you forget where it is, etc., etc.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would forget.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to know or see how it works, or do you think this is enough for you to get started?
No, I think this is enough for me to get started. I can do, I think, like my basic stuff. I use things and AI writer for, and I can get rid of the Notion stuff.
Yeah.
So that would help. Yeah. Very nice.
Cool. Well, then no more excuses in order not to start using Tana.
Yes, I'm out of excuses now. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And
Oh.
well, thank you again for joining.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.